Hi everyone and welcome back to another week of my Bake Off Technical Challenges bake-alongs. If you do like this video series, please remember to subscribe to my channel and like the video, that would be much appreciated. And yeah, we are now already on week 8 of the Bake Off 2022. Last week was pastry week and I'm going to make the Prue's Technical Challenge, which was to make 8 spring rolls. Now again, there's a slight lack of baking in this technical challenge. The oven does not get turned on for the entire time, so is this really baking? But I suppose you do have to make a dough and use a deep fat fryer, which I don't have, so I'm just going to try and heat some oil in a pot and hope for the best to make these spring rolls. But yes, basically they just consist of a dough, a filling, and then I'll make a dipping sauce as well to go alongside that. So yeah, I've got everything ready, so yeah, let's just get started with the dough. Okay, so to make the dough, I've already sifted in a bowl 150 grams of strong bread flour, 25 grams of corn flour and a teaspoonful of salt. Now we're going to add our oils and some water. So the recipe actually uses vegetable oil and sesame oil, so a tablespoon of this. Smells so good. And 2 tablespoons of the vegetable oil, and then it says to start off with about 5 tablespoons of water and then add a little more if it needs it. So I'm going to add the oil and water now and then knead into a smooth dough. Right, so here's my dough. I've just wrapped it in cling film. I'm just going to leave that now to rest for half an hour. I added 5 tablespoons of water. I was kind of worried to add a bit more. It was quite a dry dough, but because Prue said that too much water adds all those bubbles, which she didn't want, I didn't add any more. So I'm hoping that it'll be okay. So what we can do now is just move on to the filling. So for the filling, I have some rice vermicelli noodles. So what it says is just to put 25 grams in a bowl. I'm not entirely sure. How do you get these out without breaking them all? I don't want to cut open the whole packet because I want them to stay fresh. Why is this the hardest part? Right, let's try. It says 25, but I think it will be a rough 37. Okay, we're going with it. 37 and a few extra that was sticking out for good measure. Right, so now I'm going to pour some boiling water over those. So at this stage, Prue said to also add some dried porcini. I think was it? Yeah, so she said dried wood ear or shiitake mushrooms. Now, I don't have any dried mushrooms. They're also very expensive. I don't use them that much. I do like mushrooms, but they're almost a bit too potent for me personally. I remember last year for a technical challenge when she made those vegan sausage rolls, she had the dried mushrooms and it was like, whew, a bit much. So I decided against the dried mushrooms. And yeah, now I can just prepare the other sort of ingredients that will be stir fried. So I've got some spring onions, I've got another carrot, I have tiny piece of ginger, garlic cloves. I couldn't believe that so many of the bakers didn't know what mange tout were. I don't know about you, but I always have them. Why did they not know what a mange tout was? Anyway, and then I also bought, so instead of getting, because obviously it said to have carrots, cut them all, blah, 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 Chinese cabbage. I didn't want to buy all the different ingredients, so normally I don't do this. But I actually, this time, I just ended up buying like a stir-fry mix because it had mushrooms, it had cabbage, it had chili and stuff already in it. But then what I did buy, because I've never had them before and they had them at the same place that I went to yesterday, they had shiitake mushrooms, which I've never actually had. So I'm going to chop them up and add them too since I don't have the dried ones. So yeah, all of these things are going to get, I do love spring onions, everything's going to be chopped now and then I'm going to start the frying process. But yeah, I'll chop first. Okay, so I've got all my ingredients chopped and prepared. I am currently heating a tablespoon of, they said chili oil, but I just use more sesame oil because I don't have chili oil, until hot. I added a few chili flakes to the oil though, and now I'm going to add my, oh, definitely already hot. I'm going to add my spring onions, garlic, ginger. Let me just get a spoon. I'm just gonna mix that, and then I will add the remaining ingredients, fry them for about 1 or 2 minutes, and then what you do is you add a teaspoon of corn flour mixed with a tablespoon of soy sauce, and then in go the bean sprouts. So I'll just use the bean sprouts that are in here, and some oyster sauce, and then at the very end you stir in more sesame oil, which I might not do because I already used sesame oil for the initial cooking. So yeah, in go the remaining ingredients, and then I will get my soy sauce and corn flour mixed together. So I have transferred the stir fry mix into a shallow bowl and put it in the fridge so that hopefully it cools fairly quickly now. And in the meantime, I'm going to make the wrappers. So it says to lightly knead the chilled dough for 2 minutes. Nowhere did it say that it had to go into the fridge, so it's obviously not been in the fridge. But yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes. So yeah, I'm going to knead it for 2 minutes and then divide it into 8 equal pieces. And then what you do is you roll 2 pieces into 8 centimeter circles, put some corn flour over one of them, and for that I have put some corn flour into my sieve, and then I'll just kind of sieve it over. Put the other disc on top, roll it out even bigger, similar to when you're making phyllo pastry, and then I'm going to fry it in a pan for about 30 seconds on each side to make the wrapper. But yeah, first of all I'm going to knead it briefly and then divide it into 8 and roll out all my circles. Right, so I have my wrappers here under a damp tea towel just to keep them from drying out. I'm now, whilst I'm assembling them, already going to heat up my oil for the deep frying, which is the scary part. I don't deep fry, I've only deep fried things 2-3 times before, and it's a bit scary. But what I have here is some sunflower oil, because you need to use an oil that has a high, is it like a not boiling point, but is it boiling point? Smoke point, that's what it's called, I think. And we'll probably need quite a lot of this. So this is 1 litre, so let me just start glugging that in. I'm trying, you know, not to be too wasteful. I'm gonna have to use the whole thing, I think. I'm gonna have to use the whole thing. It doesn't even fill the whole pot, but I don't have a smaller. This is the smallest one I have. And then I'm going to heat that. I don't exactly know how long it will take, so that's what I'm going to start now. And then I've got my thermometer to make sure it reaches about 180 to 190 degrees. I find, especially not having an gas cooker but an electric cooker now, it's going to be really difficult to control the temperature on this. And because it's so small, I will really only be cooking 2, maximum 3 of the spring rolls at the same time. But yeah, I'm going to get that on the heat now, warm it up, and yeah, hope for the best. And then yes, in the meantime, we will prepare the spring rolls themselves. Okay, so to make these spring rolls, I'm going to take one of my wrappers. So this is what they look like. They're kind of see-through. I don't know if you can kind of see. They're definitely not round. It was very difficult to get them round. And I'm now going to try to trim them into a square without losing too much, because I don't actually think they're that big, but then again, spring rolls, they don't have to be huge. So I'm going to trim them, then add some of my filling, which is now almost completely cooled. And then once I've folded and rolled them, I'm going to use a little bit of beaten egg to seal the wrapper. And I'm going to do that with all 8, and hopefully by then the oil will be almost hot enough to do my deep fat frying. Right, so that worked surprisingly well. It was quite easy to roll up the spring rolls. The filling was just the perfect amount. I used exactly all of it. And now I've got my long tongs because my oil has reached 180. It's just above 180 now. So I'm going to add 2-3 spring rolls, see how it goes. I think they will take about 3 to 4 minutes to cook, and then I'll place them on a piece of kitchen towel to drain any excess fat. But yes, it's deep fat fry time, and the oil is very, very hot, which means I will have to be very, very careful. And if you do try this at home, I feel like I need to give a disclaimer. Please be very careful. Okay, so the spring rolls are all deep fat fried. I've just made a little dipping sauce using a bunch of different ingredients: soy sauce, some sugar, some rice vine vinegar. The exact quantities for everything will be on my version of the recipe, which will be on my blog, linked under the video. But yeah, I can now show you my finished result. Don't know how well you can see them, but these are my spring rolls. So they're actually really good. Some are much better than others. They don't have, you know, too many blisters to them. This one's the worst. This one had the most sort of holes in it. But yeah, they're actually turned out really well. So I've cut one in half already. I've got 7 plus 1. I'm not like Yanush. I haven't lost my eighth one. I know where it is. I just cut it open to cool slightly because it's still it was still quite hot inside, even like 15-20 minutes after frying it. So I've got this, and I have my dipping sauce at the ready, but I'll try first a bite without the dipping sauce and then with. So here goes. Mmm. That's actually tastes really, really good. Oh, I do like the pastry. I think this was a good one. 1 or 2 were maybe a little bit thick, but this one wasn't. So I chose the right one, but oh. Mmm. And actually even better with the dipping sauce. Wow. I really like this. Would I make it again? I'm not sure about the whole deep frying process. Like, it seemed a bit much. I have made spring rolls before, but just using phyllo pastry shop bought and doing it in the oven. So, but yeah, this is actually so nice. So I'll have one of these for lunch. Bingo when he's home, I'm sure he'll love them. Especially the dipping sauce because it's so full of soy sauce. Yes, I will put the recipe on my blog. Like I said, I first need kitchen towel because it's so oily. Anyway, yes, so the recipe will be on my blog. And yeah, apart from that, I will see you next week for week 9. So that's the penultimate one. So we've got 2 more weeks to go. So I can do this. Right. Technical challenge, week 9, oh, week 8. Sorry, week 8. Done.